That's a little bit further down. Broadway is the longest street that goes through Manhattan. Manhattan Island is 13 miles long, so it goes through the entire city. A mega huge bookstore, and she's really upset because she's got a cute little children's bookstore, and she's never going to be able to compete with the prices. That's based on the reality of on the Barnes & Noble stores. I remember 10 years ago there was one Barnes & Noble in New York down on 5th Avenue. That was it. Now they're all over the place. Do you get Barnes? It's the 72nd Street station right here. Now there's a beautiful building up ahead on your left. Old building with same year that the subway was started. And when it was, at the time, it was considered the most fancy, most elegant, at the time in the 1880s when he decided to do this, you have to imagine that everything else around you did not exist. And the center of town in New York was down by 23rd Street, like really far south of here. This was like countryside. This was so far north. And people made fun of him, and they said, oh, you know, you're crazy, you're wasting your money, the city's never going to grow this far away, you know, why are you putting some building so far north in the middle of nowhere? You might as well go to the Dakotas, you know, which at the time was unknown territory, unexplored, far west. And so he said, well, I'm going to call my building the Dakota. So there. So that's how the name came. And a lot of famous people have lived, and some still. Dorian, who was at the New York Philharmonic,
lives here.
He died about 10 years
Lauren
ago.
Bacall
Also,
here.
Boris Karloff, if you remember all the old Frankenstein and the Mummy and horror films, he lived here as well. And probably the most famous person is John Lennon, the Beatles' John Lennon. This is where John Lennon lived, and this is where John Lennon was killed 20 years ago, in December 1980. Coming in, this is the entrance to the building right here on your left. So walking into the building, he was shot by a crazy man who I think thought he was himself John Welsh. He was 2'4" on the top. And because John Lennon was very loved by so many people, people used to come and congregate in front of the building.
Look at the dude. You okay? This is John Lennon's memorial.
You're right in the middle of strawberry field. No strawberries though. I was just saying, sometimes there's people need flowers or photographs of them. There's nothing, but you know, you can come by. Imagine all the people living life in peace. That was John's idea. Look at the turtles. See all the turtles on the sunbathing turtles?
This is murder of a turtle.
Are those real? If they're real. They don't look real.
Well, there you
They
are.
are. They're just very still. All over that branch.
They are so cute.
Turtle.
Oh, look, there's some about the board on it.
Tom Crane went on.
Maybe.
Huh? Maybe we'll get to see him Wednesday.
wonderful museum. It's huge, though. It's the largest museum of natural history in the United States. So it's a big whole day affair, at least. And there's the planetarium, the New York Planetarium, which is brand new. It was closed for 4 years, and they made a new planetarium, which opened just about a year ago. And it's right behind this building. We're going to make a left here. We're going to try, Faye Dunaway. Who else? Let's see. Madonna used to, but she sold her place. Mia Farrow. A lot of people in movies, but also... There's the wrestling.
That is stunning.
So this whole area has really changed. Again, speaking of how New York City has changed, this part of town, Times Square, 42nd Street in particular, which is the next big street, and the block on your right, this used to be sort of the red light district in New York, and now it's completely different. Disney, the company Disney, bought the entire block that's to your right here. As you can see, there's a lot of construction going on. So the whole block belongs to Disney. There it is on your left. Fashion Institute of Technology, which is the fashion school of New York, is a little bit further down on the right-hand side. This is where students can learn everything to do with designing clothes, sewing, marketing, everything that has to do with the fashion world. New York is the fashion. And as we cross it, if you look on your left, you should have a very good view of the Empire State Building. There it is, which was for over 40 years the tallest building in the world. It was built in 1930, and it just 2 days ago, on May 1st, it was the 70th anniversary of the Empire State Building. It turned 70 days to be built, which is unbelievably fast when you think about it, especially. And also, this is where the New York Knicks, if you're into basketball, they lost last night. They were playing against Toronto and they lost, so I don't know. They might be out of the playoffs soon, but but this is where they play, and the New York Rangers. So there's hockey and basketball and boxing.